Hey foodies, and welcome into another video. Today we're going to discuss the release of Chapter 27 and why I'm not exactly hyped for it. Before starting, I want to remind everyone that I try really hard to be a positive voice in this community, and that I generally think the devs do a pretty good job. The days of hit piece styled videos are long over for me, and I'm dedicated to using what time I have with Dead by Daylight to make it better and not worse. That being said, part of caring for something is understanding that blind optimism is just as destructive as unfair criticism. So today, I just wanted to offer some reactions I have to the latest batch of content and share why I'm not too excited for Chapter 27's release. Of course, in every chapter, there's going to be some good and some bad, so in the name of good faith, I'd like to start by pointing out the things I actually like about this chapter. Before mentioning anything else, I have to talk about the reworked visuals for the Red Forest realm. From a strictly aesthetic standpoint, the map looks incredible. They reworked some of the tiles as well, but it's too soon to talk about the rework from a balance standpoint, so for now, I'm just going to say that I really like how the new maps look, especially the Temple of Purgation, which is just chef's kiss. As far as the entirely new content is concerned, I rather like the design of Talita and can definitely see myself putting a decent amount of time into playing her. Also, as a side note, I saw on Twitter where somebody was mocking white people for having accents, I guess, and I just want to remind everyone that the world is a big and diverse place, and sometimes people are going to speak a little bit differently from you. I'm terribly sorry if that inconveniences you in some sort of way. But yeah, Talita looks great, and I like the teamwork theme of her perks. It seems like something that's going to be especially fun if you're in a two-person Swift. Speaking of perks, I'm a pretty big fan of two of the three of the merchant's perks, those being Thwack, which is the best perk name ever, and Leverage. I had fun playing around with both of those, and I expect to use Thwack pretty frequently moving forward. In the very least, I hope it hits the meta so I can start getting more value out of Calm Spirit, which is a definite guilty pleasure perk for me. Presentation is another strength for this chapter. The drones make the map look really cool. The Mori is nice enough. I like it generally. I like the way she drops the survivors at the end. It's kind of violent, kind of cool. And while it's totally stolen from Predator, the merchant's weapon is really cool too. I especially like the sound it makes when you hit survivors. It's just very satisfying. But those are the things I do like. Now, let's talk about the things that don't exactly butter my biscuit, ignite my engine, make me feel something in my dead but beating core. To no one's surprise, one of these things is the Skull Merchant herself. Now look, you can go way back in my catalog and find plenty of times where I've said the best thing DBD has going for it is its art team. The guys and gals that design Dead by Daylight's characters are amongst the most talented in the business, and that's never changed. But this chapter serves as a good reminder that sometimes even Michael Jordan airballs a free throw. Seriously, I don't know how something like this even happens. You're telling me that the same company that made bangin' designs like the Doctor, the Plague, and the Dredge really saw fit to release a killer that is just Roxanne Ritchie in a bejeweled gas mask? Others have compared her to Nia and Ada, and while I see that too, I'm convinced that this is just some alternate universe where there's a villain arc where Roxanne decides to turn on Megamind and take Metro City for herself. I just really can't unsee it. This design is rough, and it gives me the same icky feeling I had in my stomach when I first saw the Trickster. This is even worse than something like Twins or Hag, because at least they look like they belong here. They're scary, they look evil. The Twins is body horror, it works. Skull Merchant doesn't look like anything that should be in a DBD game, doesn't look like any kind of DBD character. And if you had shown her to me a week ago and asked me to pick which game she was in, I would have guessed Apex Legends or Rainbow Six Siege. You know, after Siege decided regular soldiers were boring and sci-fi was the way to go. Maybe I changed my tune in time, but my initial reaction is one of immense disappointment. To be fair, part of this is on me and the rest of the community. We saw the teaser and we built up hype for a cyborg or robot killer, and in some ways that's not entirely fair to the art team. Of course, a lady with a bedazzled mask is less cool than a T-800-like killing machine, literally. But to counter that, I would say that if we all know what's cooler between the two, why not just go with the rule of cool and give the people one that they're going to like more? And before anyone says it, I don't mean it has to be an actual T-800. I just mean I would have preferred a literal death robot over what we got. It doesn't help that I'm not a big fan of the merchant's power either. Sure, it makes the map look pretty, but there's got to be more to it than that. This is a killer that's going to excel at holding 3-gens, and if there's one thing the entire community loves, it's 3-gen wars of attrition that go on for 30 minutes. I know they're my favorite type of game. Meta-wise, I think she'll be on the lower end of the tier list, but I'll wait to comment on that too much until her official release date. Knight and plenty of others got beefy buffs before hitting the live servers, so there's no reason to think the merchant won't as well. I would think she'll at least get something, but we'll see. Still, for the time being, as she is now, the ceiling seems pretty low for this killer, but look, I could be surprised. Overall, this chapter is just kind of a punch to the gut. I haven't really been enjoying Dead by Daylight recently, and I was holding out hope that this chapter would reignite my enthusiasm for the game. Sadly, it's pretty much done the opposite, and now I've just got to hope that they have something really incredible planned for the anniversary event, because as of right now, I don't know, dudes. I'm just kind of struggling with it. But, of course, DBD is a large community, and one man's trash is another's treasure. So, what do you think? Are you a fan of this design? Might one of the 3 new characters be a potential main for you? Are you excited about this chapter, or are you kind of like me and you've been in a bit of a funk with DBD lately? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. I'm looking forward to reading what people say about this one. Either way, I will see you in a future video, and until then, I've been Dustfood. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my